Love is our true divine nature, and our heart serves as the intersection of the spiritual and physical, connecting our soul with our body as the conduit for anchoring our divinity onto the earth plane. Embodying our divinity is the key to our ascension and to manifesting our highest destiny in this life. The teachings of the heart are alchemy. Join spiritual mentor and channel Jennifer Spor each week on a sacred journey to lift the veil to remembering your divinity and meet other beautiful souls who are living the path of the awakened heart. And today we are here to talk about how your connection to the earth is important to living your purpose. Such a big topic, and I'm, felt inspired to bring it forward today for us to discuss it, because so often, we talk about self-care and how important it is to get out into nature, and all of that is true, but that isn't what this talk today is about. It's about the truth that you're actually a part of nature. Our physical bodies are a part of the earth, and as such, in the pursuit to align with our highest purpose, and some of us also have a global mission here to fulfill, our connection with the earth and where we're being guided in regard to that connection is just as important as tuning into, what our gifts are that we're meant to share with the world, and, what also brings us joy, right? So that's really what I want to talk about here today. And before I jump in to sharing some advice with you around nurturing your connection to the earth, your relationship to it, and also how it connects to your purpose and mission, I want to share a little bit about my own story and experience with this. And so that actually goes back quite a few years. Probably shortly after my mom transitioned several years ago, I was feeling guided to move back out to Idaho. And at the time, I was living in New Jersey, and what had brought me out to New Jersey at that time was my prior corporate career in retail. Anyway, so to try to make a longer story shorter for you, I was feeling guided after my mom transitioned to move back to Idaho, and Idaho is where I grew up. It's where I lived up until I was about 16, when I made a decision to go out on my own at that point. And at the time, I thought I wanted to move back out to Idaho because I wanted to be closer to my family. And at a conscious level, I truly felt that that's what I wanted and why I was feeling guided to come out here. And little did I know at the time, after I moved out here, all of the events that would unfold that would later show me why I was actually here. And so at the time when I made the decision to move, I knew, I already had a divine knowing at that point that moving back to Idaho was never going to be a permanent stop for me, that it was always going to be something temporary. And what happened after I got out here is that a lot of things shifted in my life. I was single at the time, and I actually ended up meeting my husband out here and getting married. But what is important to mention in the context of this conversation is that my husband and I were actually dating in high school at the time I decided to move away. And so that's a whole other story in itself, but we ended up reconnecting 20 something years later. And then that was in 2016, we got married in 2018, and the rest is history. I also connected with my soulmate pets. I hadn't had any animals really in my life that I was super close to for so many years up until I moved back out here. And I really believe that my husband came along and that my cats came along as a result of the decision I made to come back out here and to create space. So that was one piece. The next piece that unfolded in regard to moving back out to this land is that this area was also actually the epicenter of most of, I should say, the trauma that I experienced earlier in my life. And since I've moved back out here, I've had the opportunity not only to reconnect with loved ones, but to also heal from, the trauma that I had experienced that honestly was one of the major driving forces to why I left the area to begin with. Rather than actually dealing with it, I just chose to leave. I'm bringing this up, and some of you might be watching thinking, well, how is this pertinent to the land? Well, beyond, our own opportunities for healing within our relationships to others and even ourselves, we tend to develop perceptions of geographic areas and lands that we've been in, and we relate to that through the lens of our own level of consciousness on our path, right? So before I moved back here, I used to think of this area and it made me cringe, literally. Did not want to be here. But since I've been back and in all of the shifts that I've experienced on my own path and healing, I've really come to love this area and to love the land in this area. And it's really important because, like I was saying, when I first started, this conversation, we are actually part of the earth. And so when we're feeling guided to go somewhere and we don't honor that guidance, it's kind of like having a relationship with another person where there's a part of that relationship that is being suppressed, but you're choosing to move forward essentially without acknowledging that. And when you're on this path, on the path to fulfilling your highest purpose, to really showing up fully as your highest aligned self in the world, addressing and having the willingness to face the shadow work that also needs to be done is really important, especially with your connection to the earth, because the earth is part of you and it wants to support you on your path. So that was really my story. That was part of what inspired me to talk about this topic today. But also in the clients that I've been working with for the last couple of months, the land and where they're meant to go or where they're feeling guided to go has been popping up consistently with every person. And so I have a gift. I know those of you who know me may know this, but those who aren't familiar with me may not know this, that I have a gift for being able to know and see what someone's highest purpose and mission is here. And so part of that is also seeing where is the highest aligned location for them to be, or what are they being guided to address in relation to their connection to the land and to the earth. And so when I'm working with a client, I actually see, it's like I see in my third eye a map, and then I see the person as the light, and then I see different areas of the map of the country or of the world that are lighting up to where they're meant to be. A lot of times, my clients already have an idea of where they're guided to go, whether it's to visit, just to visit, or to actually move. And with how rapidly the energies are continuing to shift and ascend in the collective, many people are being called to start traveling again, to visit various places, or to actually move to completely new locations. So in sharing my story, I know that I addressed more of the importance around healing your relationship to the earth and healing your own trauma in relationship to it. But it's also important to honor where you're being guided to go, because you may have, a connection to the earth or a certain geography that you're meant to actually assist in activating certain energies that assist in moving the collective forward into this next golden age that we're moving into. Because again, you are part of the earth, so there can also be codes that are meant to be activated, or you may be guided to go to a place and to do certain types of work with the earth. It's, again, really important to honor that, and important to to acknowledge that that's just as important part of your purpose as all of the other facets. And I'm just going to take a look at my notes here to see that I covered everything I wanted to cover with you guys today. Yeah, and that's it. So really just honoring your connection with the earth, and being intentional about where it's guiding you, and knowing that that is an important part of your path. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. Have a great day. Thank you for listening to Path of the Awakened Heart. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts or pathoftheawakenedheart.com so you never miss an episode. To learn more about living with an awakened heart and navigating your ascension journey, visit me at jenniferspor.com.